So the three main things we have to know are just assessment for, as, and of, and we kind of talked about this really quickly. Most of our assessments will be in as, right? Like for, like as Jay talked about, we kind of do this like very quickly and early. And technically in Ontario, for, you just look at last year's sort of grade book, grade 4. And of is something that, I mean, that's what usually our students really care about at Boisme. They really care about of, so we want to focus more on as. So I'm just going to read this quote really quickly. It is worth noting right from the start that assessment is a human process conducted by and with human beings and subject inevitably to the frailties of human judgment. However crisp and objective we might try to make it, and however neatly quantifiable may be our results, assessment is closer to an art than a science. It is, after all, an exercise in human communication. So the thing with assessment, especially for like the humanities, is that it is very subjective, and this is why we have to be like really careful with our as part. So what is assessment? It's a process of gathering information that accurately reflects how well students are achieving their curriculum expectations. So I'm going to skip all this really quickly. And the main thing is it's about improving student learning. So it's not about what they know or what they can do. It's actually the point of assessment is you have to improve their learning. It's not just you teach them and then they tell you what they know. You have to use that to like improve their learning, right? This is why as is very important. So there's three types of assessment, and these terms are actually outdated technically. Okay, so diagnostic, formative, and summative. This is something I used to use like when I was a student, but we technically don't use it anymore. We use the word as for, as, and of. So which word would diagnostic fit in? Would it be assessment for, as, or of?
For.
Is that correct? Yes, it is.
What about formative?
Surprisingly, this will be as.
Both as and for.
It's actually as and of, right?
Yeah, it could be like quizzes, right?
Yeah.
Quizzes could be.
And then summative, obviously, of, right? So we want to stick with like as. We do a lot of formative. Me and Carm do a lot of formative. So, and that's actually a good thing. It's not a bad. I know a lot of students want summative. They all want summative, but we like that's impossible. Like I don't like too many summatives either.
And it's the nature of the program and the curriculum too. Because
Yeah.
if you take a look at A level, AP, then it's all summative.
That's not a problem, right? Yeah. I'm gonna skip this. Skip this. Skip this. Okay, so what I'm just gonna do really quickly is I have this little paper. There's lots of assessments on here, and you just have to put them in the right category. Which one do you think it is? Do you think it's for, as, and of? Obviously, you're gonna have like, don't think it's like 33%, 33%, 30%. They're not evenly everywhere, so you can just do this alone or just do it. A lot of it is like teaching them like why that's important instead of of, right? They're all like, just give us a test or an exam. Like everything should be for feedback, but you kind of want to tell them, listen, your grade will be better if we see the process, right? So also, just really quickly, in terms of like the feedback stuff, the formative assessments, you want it to be high stakes, and you want like students to be like, you want them to get more responsibility, right? So as learning, students are more responsible. They have more. They're making more decisions because they're involved in it. Like peer feedback is really important. Teacher responsibility. If you're just doing like tests, that's all the teacher, like projects. And then obviously they're more high stakes. Tests and exams are more high stakes, and then your assessment as will probably be low stakes. I mean, you can make this high stakes, but I think overall it'll be low stakes. Sorry, I'm gonna skip all this. Okay, just a really quick example. So how would you use this in English class and a composition class? So you have your learning outcome, so like learning goals. By the end of this unit, you will be able to compose a research-based 5-paragraph essay based on a topic of your choice. And then how would you just divide that into the assessments? So at the beginning of the unit, use a Mentimeter quiz to check for understanding about essay writing. So you can just give them a quiz and be like, what's the thesis? How many paragraphs should it have? Where does a topic sentence go? Where does a conclusion go? What's MLA formatting? Then you know what they know and what they don't know. So if you know they know MLA, you don't really have to teach it too much. If you know they don't know MLA, then you're like, I'll plan my unit to teach them MLA. Assessment for and as, have students share the introductory paragraph of their essay with a peer for feedback. So me and Carm, like we do that a lot. They come and talk with us. They talk with each other. So they're getting feedback from each other, right? It's not like a formal grade. It is a part of their grade, but it's not their complete grade. And then finally, assessment of learning. Students submit a research-based 5-paragraph essay on a topic of their choice. So for English, this is pretty like straightforward. I guess for science or math, it would be like a longer project. I really don't know how it's for science. I think Lance might know for science better, but you basically breaking it down, right? You would break down your big assignment into many parts, and then you sort of break it down in these assessments. Okay, I'm gonna skip all this.
If we have more time, maybe
We don't.
maybe next year we could do the entire.
All right.